That's a
we'll share
good
the
idea.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we
Okay.
started the recording and we'll share the link
Yes.
with you once we complete. So Swapnil, you can just start. Let me just call up Magnimius and see where are they.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Yeah, you can start from there.
Okay. So, sir, let me do one thing. I'll start with the. I'll start with the demo piece directly. So, let me just open that website, demo website. I'll just share that directly. Okay. Okay. So, sir, hope everyone can see this environment, this website, or the cluster access that I have taken. Okay. So this is the demo sites which I have made. So just to give you a brief understanding, this is cluster number 46, and let me show the hardware here. The cluster number 46 hardware is just like a proper 3-node cluster residing in one block. This is the model number, and it contains around basically 512 MB of RAM and around a couple of cores. Like if I were to give you the details in the hardware summary, it will give you a better idea. So let me just show that. So it contains around 3.5 terabyte of storage space. It is having 16 cores of CPU, and when it comes to the RAM, it is having roughly around 125 GB per node. So more or less, it is like you can assume 760 GB of RAM total, and per node 16 cores. So it is like 16, 16, 16 for the 3 nodes. So this is the configuration, and exactly a similar configuration replica is there on the DR side. So this is the DR, by the way. So DC is your 46, DR is your 47. If I were to show you the hardware, it's fairly similar build, same hardware and same this thing which I have taken for DC and DR. And this is hosted in our Nutanix cloud, which is a hosted POC. And I can share you the username passwords, and this is accessed through Parallels VDI. So I can share you the entire username password as well as the IP address for accessing the whole thing, so that you can also tinker around with it and play with it. Now, for this demo purpose, I'll just tell you what I had done. I had created 3 VMs. One is a Windows 10 VM, another one is a Linux VM, which is a CentOS based VM, and third one is a Windows SRV. This is a Windows 2016 server operating system which I have selected. So these are the 3 VMs which I did, and when I deployed the VM, so I'll just tell you that here in the storage now, ideally out of the total pool that you have, so for the DR purpose, like whatever VMs I want to copy towards the DR, I created a special container. It is this container, test container, which I made here, as you can see. Somebody dropped, I guess. Okay. So this is a test container which I made. It is having 3 terabyte of storage space. And after I made this container, whatever VMs which I made here, I aligned. So when you create this VM, there is an option to align that specific container as well. So here in the storage piece of it, I selected add new disk, and then here, just a minute. Here you can see the test container coming in. So this is how, when I created the VMs, I aligned this container for their any secondary storage requirement, or any files of backup or something like that. So I have aligned this. So what I did was, out of the 3 terabytes, I have aligned for 45, 45, 45 for all these 3 machines, and I have added them to that VMs. So each of these VMs is having its own operating system, whatever storage the operating system consumes, as well as the additional storage bit, like whatever storage the 45 GB worth of additional storage is there. So this was all carved out. The storage bit what was carved out from the test VM which I added. Okay. And then this is how the entire configuration was done. Once they were added here, then you have to uh, from the legacy piece of it, you come to the data protection side. You come here and you add the remote side. Once you select remote side, you add the physical cluster. You have to provide the IP address and the details here of the opposite side. So whatever IP address and details were added, and then you get this remote site that is added. So as you can see, the opposite side, that is the DR side, showing up as cluster number 47, is added in 46, so that it knows that this is the IP address and this is the one which I want to have as a DR. Once that is added, then what I do is I come here from the Prism Central. Okay, it has logged off. Let me just. So let me just add the username and password and log into the site. Okay, so once you are there in the Prism Central console, now bear in mind that you will be having Prism Central console on both the locations for TC and DR. So even here in the Prism Central, you have to do the same thing. You have to first add the availability zones. So once you come here in the policies, there is an option to add the AZs, that is the availability zone here, and you also add it here. So so to enable leap, we have to first enable the leap process, and there are certain prerequisites to enable the leap. One of the prerequisites is to have a availability zone created and added. Once you add this, so the process is fairly simple. You just click on connect to availability zone, and you select physical location. Then you enter the uh, Prism Central IP address of the opposite side. So in this case, I entered the Prism Central IP of the 47. Then you enter the username password, and this you press on connect. This will be added. And the same process is to be done at both the locations. So in DC, you will add the PC address of the DR, and in DR, you will add the PC address of the DC. Once this is done, this is like a prerequisite type of a couple of steps. This once these steps are done, you create your entire setup and you enable leap. Okay. uh, so and then you can also there is also recovery points and all that, so I will take you through. I think Deepak had joined, and he's, I think, okay, Deepak sir has joined. Okay.
Yeah, I just switched over from mobile to laptop.
Acha, acha. Okay, great.
Yeah, because I was not able to see the screen.
No worries, sir, no worries. Then you create these protection policies and everything, and then you enable the entire piece of it. And then for the replication and all, you go and you go into the policies and you enable this site. So once this setup is done at both the sites, the DC and the DR, uh, I will log in here as well. So I had created a document as well for your reference as to how this failover process works and how the failover is initiated. So I will be sharing this later on with you guys. So this is the failover, how you initiate the failover and how you do it. Okay. Okay. Now going back here, let me just log into this console. Okay. So this is the opposite side again. This is the DR for cluster number 47. You do the same steps on this side as well. You add the recovery plans and the protection policies and everything. Once this is done and the entire piece is set up, what you will do is you have to put these VMs in the protection space. Okay. You create the protection policy, you add the selected VMs, and basically it gives you the option like this. You select everything, add a cluster, you give them the objective as to whether it's a linear backup, asynchronous or asynchronous, and once this is done, you click on save, then this configuration is created. And then once both of them start reflecting, now let's see if you want to fail over these VMs. Now I'll just tell you, if you now these are the VMs which are all green. So you see this, these are green, these are running on the DC side, and if I want to fail over them to the DR, so I will just come here to the DR site of Prism Central, which is the 47 IP, and then I will go to the replication piece of it, and I will do a failover for this. Okay, so I'll come here. Now we are in the recovery plan. So recovery plan is the place where you can do the DC and DR failover, or you want to take your workloads from DC to DR in the case of a manual failover. Now let's assume that I am doing a manual failover. My workload is running on DC. The workload is actually running here. Okay, and this is the Prism Central of the DR side. So I come here and I click on the failover option. Once I click on the failover option, it gives me planned failover and unplanned. In this, since it's a demo, I will select the planned failover option. So here you have the drop down failover from. So if you have multiple sites, you will get multiple IP addresses like location Pune, I think, UDHE, from where you have to failover to where. So by default, since we have two sites, this is selected, and I just have to click on failover. And you can see total number of VMs which are added in the failover policy are 3. These are the same 3 VMs which are connected. I click on failover. So it is selecting saying failover from the recovery plan. And as you can see, it has selected these 3 VMs which I had added manually. And right now we are just getting these messages because the licensing is only a trial license, because this is a DC demo environment. So I just click on execute anyway. And now it will start the execution of failover from the DC to DR. So in some time you will see that this is green, this will become red here, and the VM will start reflecting on this cluster. So right now we don't have any VMs showing up here. So once the process initiates and it fails over, this will actually come up in the DR side. Okay, so as you can see, it has initiated the process, and now this VMs have started to do the process, and they are on the way. Within some minutes, they will start reflecting on the DR side.
Swapnil,
Yeah, sir.
uh, in that the failover list. So, is there any option to failover particular VM, or it is like all at a time will go? Is it like that? How?
Sir, so how it works is there are multiple options. You can actually even have a sequence. In the advanced piece of it, you first of all you will have to create a DR plan. In that you have to select which VMs are required to be failed over. So for example, I created that plan with only these 3 VMs. Okay, now I have only executed that plan for the 3 VMs. Similarly, if you have certain mix and match of applications, you can create multiple plans so that only this selected 3 applications or selected 5 applications can fail over. And not only that, you can also enable the IP address. You can define what IP address they are supposed to take on the DR side. All those things can also be defined when you are deploying it. Okay, so coming back, so you see this Windows SRV has shown up over here, which was earlier reflecting in this piece.
Mm-hmm.
Now slowly it will start powering on. Just a minute. Okay, so we no longer can see the Windows SRV here. Okay, this is the DC side. It has started the failover process. Now slowly they should come up. So see this, the second VM, Windows 10 VM test, that has also come up over here, and Linux test, this has also come up, and it should power up any moment now. So okay, so see, this is the process wherein it has migrated, and now it will boot up on its own. So this is how the DCDR complete failover happens. And there are multiple options which are available to you. You can also do defined way, wherein suppose if you want to run a script example when the VM is powering on, you can also define the script, for example, so that there is a certain custom configuration that is required on the DR side. The VM can have that configuration. And right here, as we can see, the VMs have completely migrated. Now we no longer cannot see those three VMs here. They are gone from this location. Okay. They are completely gone away from this location, and now they are see, this number has gone to 14, and this VMs will power on right now. Let me just see. So this all the three VMs, Win SRV test, Linux test, and Windows test, they have powered on in the DR side. So this is how the entire piece works. As you can see, within a couple of minutes, the entire sequence happened where they migrated from the DC to the DR side, and you can actually define a lot of things when you are creating the policy. So I'll just take you through that. Here, as you can see, you can also define how much local retention you want, what type of a, whether it's synchronous, asynchronous, linear, or a roll-up policy. You can define a recovery point and all that, and they will show up here. So you can actually define कि मेरे को ये backup है or this VM, how many snapshots or how many backup copies are to be there. If you define 5 copies, it will actually have 5 different recovery points from where you can back up. So this is the configuration piece. And another thing is that I'll just show it here. You have something called as recovery point as well. From there you can at a time check. So let me see, VM recover. So see, now whenever you create a policy like this, you can set recovery points for those specific VMs. So now the VMs belong to this location, but now they have migrated, but you can still see the recovery profiles and the recovery points that were created. It will say the latest recovery point was 18th December. The oldest one that is available is 17th of December. So that's how the entire config is done. And if we were to drill down further, so you can see when was the replication happened, what is the expiry date, everything you can see. All the details are shown here. So you can see there are total of 9 recovery points. This is of course customizable, and based on the policy, you can either increase it or decrease these points. And for the 2 locations, right? 46 and 47, these are the total numbers. So there are total recovery points of 35. You have 9 recovery points in the DC, and because the 47 number is a DR, you have some recovery points happening here as well.
What is the resource consumption of these recovery points? Is it similar to a snapshot that we take in a VM, or is it something different?
Yeah, it is similar to a snapshot. It is similar to a snapshot that we take. It won't consume much of a size.
Okay, but like in this because what happens in a snapshot is it increases in size over time. So eventually it becomes the
So
size of the VM. So here, how does this recovery point work?
So how this recovery points work is, so there are, so suppose, let's say you are having incremental backups, right? So let's say in a week, you have 5 backups which you are doing, but you can define that I will have a master backup done on Monday. The rest of them should be incremental. So it is called as a roll-up policy. Okay. And in that, you take a master copy on Monday, and then you take increments. So only the incremental changes which happen on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that will be copied and kept as pointers. And then next week, again, an entire master file will be created on a Monday. So what happens is whatever incremental was there before that, that will be added and rolled up into the next week's master copy. And that way, so this is all pre-configurable as per your choice. You can define it up to the level that you want. And best part is that you can also define that once the copy becomes 1 week old or 2 weeks old, you can automatically delete it, because that entire deletion process is also automated. So at any point of time, it will hardly consume a certain amount of storage for the recovery backups and everything. And whatever is old or whatever is out of the scope of the policy that you make and it becomes old, it will be auto deleted. So it does a automatic space saving as well. Whenever it auto deletes the old or purges the old files.
And is there any option to specify a particular data store for this? Means, or like the recovery points
Yeah,
should be
container
kept
you
on,
mean, right?
yeah, some container. Means,
Yeah.
can we, yeah,
Okay. So for the DRs which you made, we had selected the test container when we
correct,
made the
test
policy.
container, right?
Correct, and that will be utilized for them.
Okay.
Swapnil,
Uh,
this replication would be database consistent. Like if we use it for SQL VM replication,
uh-huh.
does it guarantee that SQL database would always be consistent when we switch over to DR?
Yes, sir. There is a whenever we make those snapshots and everything, at that time there is an option to select make application consistent snapshots. You can check mark that option, and it will make those consistent with the application.
Great.
So this is the piece. So what I'll be doing is Nitin and Akino, I'll be actually giving you. If you want to play around, I can give you access of this cluster also. Or if you want to create something from scratch, I can give you the documents also, steps also as to how you can create it on your own. If you want to play around, and then I can give you the parallels type of access for this environment. If you want to play around with it or do something to it on your own to see how the entire piece works.
Okay, okay, yeah. Thank you, Swapnil. I have two questions actually.
Yes,
First
sir.
one is these two sites, basically DC and DR, you are saying. So how much may be the latency between those two? Any idea you have? This network
Latency in the sense,
uh,
sir, backup latency you are saying?
no, let's say I
Sir,
ping.
see,
Yeah, yeah.
so,
Hello.
sir, actually, if you're asking, yeah, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm able to.
Okay. So, sir, what I'm saying is, suppose if you are asking from a point of replication, how much latency is there between the two locations? Then, sir, it depends on the policy that you define. If I do asynchronous type of a thing, I can actually have it replicate every 6 hours, or I can define it to be replicated every 1 hour. If I want more than less than 1 hour replication time, then I have to go for an advanced license and synchronous replication capability.
No, we will
Okay,
have a
but in
synchronous.
our use case, yeah, in our use case we have asynchronous. So it is, you can consider it anywhere between 1 hour to 6 hours as per how you define it. If you define it 6 hours, it will be 6 hours. If you define it as something in between 1 hour or a little bit more than 1 hour, it will be 1 hour.
Mhm. And the second aspect of the question is, you can you just go to the containers that you have shown us, or I think test container you have created, right?
Yes, sir.
Just go there on the containers front. Yeah. Yes, this.
Yes.
So let's say when you started the first snap or first piece of application, so that
Mhm.
the snap of the VM gets stored on the same test under test container, or it goes to some other container. Yes.
Okay, so sir, the automatic, ideally, I have used this for the secondary storage piece of it. Okay, but how is it is managed? It is actually done seamlessly by Nutanix. It is not giving that control as to where you want to keep the on which container you want to keep it, because that is happening behind the scenes. It is not asking me that question where you want to store it.
So basically, my question again, like it depends. Let's say, for example, uh, I have a container, let's say A, okay, and it has a VM with that container has a size of let's say 1 TB, and in that container I have my virtual machine with
Okay.
the size of let's say 900 GB. When I will take the snapshot of that,
Uh-huh.
I mean I'm assuming that it will not reside into the same, otherwise it will fail. because the container size itself is a 1
Acha,
TB.
so you are saying that you want a different location. Acha, you want a okay, like that. Okay. So you are saying that if your container itself is 1 TB and your backups are also getting stored in the same container of 1 TB, then
It
container
will,
will get exhausted.
right, right, right. So it happens like that, or it takes the space on its own, or we have to
No,
define
it
somewhere
actually
that,
takes no.
or
It
we have to
actually
define
because
somewhere that was for snapshots you take this space. Don't play with my production space
okay,
or something like that. Yeah, yeah.
okay, got it. So actually, when I made that, it did not give me that option. But I will check on this particular question as to whether we can define a specific storage space while creating the policy.
You understood my question, correct? No, because
I understood your
it
question.
may happen like that. Yeah.
I understood your question, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
understood your question.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think this is okay. Aquino, uh, I think we should tell Swapnil to at least give us 2 3 VMs, and the rest of the policies we will play around. That is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, sir.
Go
So
ahead. Go
what I
ahead.
can do now, I can also give you the username password of whatever I have made, and there is another cluster which I have booked from 19th onwards. So that's a fresh cluster because this cluster it might get over on 21st. So I will check the timeline of this cluster. If I can extend, I will surely give you this cluster if you want it for 2 3 days. So you can play with it.
Okay. No problem. Go ahead.
Okay. So 21st is till Monday. So I will see this one is booked till Monday. So accordingly, you can have a policy. And also, by the way, we have the test drive option as well. So using test drive, you can actually have a guided tour of the Nutanix environment. So that is also one piece of it that which might interest you. So I'll just share that. So so this is something where you come here and you just put in your email id so this is open to everybody. Anybody can put his own personal email id, office email id, and he will get 4 hours of access, which is a guided access, by the way. And guided access means if you want to create some policies and all, it will actually guide you that click here, click it is actually like a person helping you out. Click here, select this option, enter this thing, enter a name, select your policy, select your location, like that. It's like a wizard pops up and it is actually guiding you. So you can also try this, and here you can select ensure business continuity. So it will allow you to select protect, replicate, recover, and everything. Put in your email address and click on continue. So that is how you can take a guided test drive also of this entire piece. Okay. Now, sir,
Yeah.
what I'll do is I'll quickly move on to the PPT which I had prepared.
Yeah.
So we can discuss on the sizing and other aspects which you have come to. So
I
let me
think you
stop
have.
this sharing and I'll come to the PPT. Yes,
I
sir.
think you have SMS me something. No? So actually, I
Ha, ha,
need
ha,
some
ha.
time to go about the figures. No, the exact
Okay, okay.
the sizing that you have taken. But anyways, you have taken it from our data only. So
Correct,
let
sir.
me go
Yeah,
through
so
one by
basically,
one.
what we'll do is we will just showcase the BOQ and tell you that after a node failure, what will you achieve, and then you can cross check it with your table. That
Yeah,
if you want
yeah.
to add some more buffer to it, or you say,
Yes,
okay, no,
yes.
this is not sufficient, then we can make the changes accordingly.
Okay, no problem.
Sure, sir. So, sir, this is the PPT which I had already shared with you, and I added some points later on. Okay, so just a minute, I'll add something. So this is what I had shared with you, and I did the calculations in that based on the requirement. So let me just start once so that because everybody is there in the meeting and getting recorded. So I will start from the beginning. So, sir, this is the consideration which we had created from based on the inputs which you had provided. So this is your UDHE house, Pune, and I think. So the replication happens from UDHE house to your Pune location, from Pune to UDHE house. It's supposed to happen daily, and from I think location only to the Pune location. This replication should happen. Okay, this was the inputs that are given, and these are the links between UDHE and I think it's a 200 Mbps link between UDHE to Pune. We have 100 Mbps, and between Pune and I think again we have a 200 Mbps link. Now talking about the host information, this is the hardware information of your cluster that you have, and then your okay. This is the hardware information. This is ESXi. This is AHV for UDHE house. This is the Pune one, which is there in ESXi, and then I think which is there in ESXi. Now what I did was I actually broke it down, and this is the total for the respective uh, co- locations, and whichever applications which you want to have a DR for. So from the UDHE house, you actually have got this many VMs which are supposed to be backed up to the Pune location. From the Pune location, these are the VMs which are supposed to be backed up to the other locations. From here it will go to UDHE, and from I think it will go to Pune location. So between the UDHE and the Pune, this will be interchangeable. Like from here, the backup will happen to below, and from below to above. So these are the DRs, the DRs which are supposed to be backed up. So I have calculated this as a DR component, and then these are the additional resources which I have to add in the respective location. So for example, for the replication from Pune to UDHE house, I have to consider this requirement towards the UDHE side. For the replication which is supposed to happen from UDHE to Pune, I have to consider this as an additional overhead in the Pune location. And from the replication that is going to happen from I think to Pune, I have considered this as an additional component in the total BOM.
Swapnil, I
Now
have
these are the inputs which,
one question. Can you just go
sure
to
sir.
back just one slide back? Yeah. So this vCPU and VRAM you are considering for powering on those machines there, right? That is the only this thing. Can you just come one slide forward, move forward one slide? Yeah. Mm, yeah, this is
This one.
the vCPU and RAM that you had considered.
uh,
That is
uh-huh.
basically in case of failover that will power on there, right?
Yes sir, yes sir. This is in case of a
Mhm.
failure, the machine will actually run from the DR side.
So that's why that those compute resources that you are considering, correct? No.
Correct sir.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
this is the total input that was given for UDHE. So I'll just tell you how I have calculated this. Now this is the replication, the orange one. Orange box is the replication from Pune to UDHE house, and these are the resources which I am adding to this cluster as a total component. Then these are the components of UDHE house which are already there in UDHE, which are running in the form of a ESXi, and then adding the orange one and the gray one, I get this total requirement in the UDHE house, okay, which is 131 vCPU, 509 GB of RAM, 29 TB. And approximately, if you were to buy a new hardware, it will be something like this hardware that will be proposed. Okay. Now talking about the hardware to be procured for the below locations, for example, we have something like the replication happening from UDHE house to Pune location, and from I think location to the Pune location. Okay. This is the replication overhead that I have calculated for the compute and the RAM. And then the gray one is the actual resources which are running in the ESXi, which I have converted to the new or the hardware requirements. And then adding the green part and the gray part gives me the yellow box, which is the total requirement I have, including the current existing workloads and the additional workloads which are going to come from the other locations to my Pune location for the replication and the backup, so that I can power on the respective VMs from Pune location also. And then roughly this is the hardware that we had come to. Okay. And
So
then
Swapnil,
yeah.
uh, uh, the Pune at the Pune, this yellow thing I am asking.
Uh-huh.
At Pune, you are saying it is a 28 TB which is coming out, 256 GB, and CPU is 96. And in proposed, you are saying 16 TB storage, 16 TB. So you have some.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have I have actually changed that. So I will show that Pune hardware. So just ignore this.
Okay.
Just ignore this bit.
Okay. Okay. So I
I'll
thought that you are considering
no, no,
some
no. I'll tell
encryption
you.
or deduplication factor. So that's why I
No,
just.
no, 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 no. Okay, just a minute. I'll change this. This should become 35. Okay, so moving on, and this is the overall requirement for your iThink. Now in iThink there is no additional replication coming from other location. Only iThink is replicating to the Pune location, right?
Correct. Correct.
So this gray box becomes the yellow box, which is the total requirements I have considered, because there is no other replication happening here. And this is a hardware proposed. So I will show you the hardware that I have come to. So and then this is the free capacity which is there in the UDHE house. The current total this which is there, the CPU and all. So what I have realized that the CPU utilization at the currently at UDHE house is pretty low. So it is only 10% and 40% based on the maximum peak that we have seen in the last 1 month. Okay, and the memory consumption and storage consumption. But by the way, so overall if you calculate, so it is already having roughly around 20 to 24 terabytes free, if you calculate the free storage on the extreme right hand side. Okay, now coming to the bomb calculation which I had done. So from the overall inputs, now I just need one thing which I need is that how much utilization is there in the ESXi. Whatever workloads are running in the ESXi, I just need a tentative information about the workloads, whether they are running at 10% or whether they are running at 50%, so that I can get a better idea. But overall, from whatever I have seen so far, it seems that this UD for the UDHE house, the current infrastructure should be enough to cater to the incoming workloads. Okay, ideally that is what I feel. For the bomb of Pune location, this is what it is. So so there the number was a little bit off. So here you can see the total terabyte calculated is 28, and so the bomb which I have proposed is around 35 terabyte. It's considering the total of the DR replication existing setup and the new bill of material. So this for this I have considered 3 nodes of 360 G10 single socket and all, and the RAM and the storage and everything. And so one question which I wanted to know is, what is the port here? Is it a fiber or a copper, sir, at the bomb Pune location?
Pune, most probably it will be SFC fiber, most probably.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
Got it. So I will just make a note of that directly.
You are proposing single CPU in Pune in each node, Swapnil?
Yes, sir. I was proposing this 12 core single socket. So it is like a 3 node of 12 cores each.
Correct. Mhm.
So this is a N, by the way. I have not considered failover here. Okay,
Mhm.
for Pune
Mhm.
location.
Yeah, yeah.
If like if you want a failover, I can make it a little bit higher resources I can add on top of it. So
Mhm.
this is like if one node goes down, your data will be still there, but the CPU part of it is not. It doesn't have a redundant part. The storage part has a lot of redundancy.
You put it, no problem. You go ahead.
But what about I think Swapnil, I think में N+1 है क्या?
नहीं, both of them are not N+1. It is only N. Both of them are N.
Are both acting as DRs? No, only Pune is acting like DR, right?
Correct. Correct, Kavan.
So I think we'll need N+1, Swapnil.
No, this is not N+1, Kavan. This is
Then
also
it is not. But is it required? Is my question.
So this configuration is required because if you look at the core count now, this total core is coming to 92 cores, and even in the Pune location, the total core is actually coming to around 96 cores. So from a core point, cores that are actually required. So these are vCPUs, by the way. So from the actual configuration, even if you take ratio of 1:4, it comes to around that much, 20 plus 20 to 24
No,
CPUs
I
are
understand
required.
that, buddy. My thing is ke I think if they need N plus like one node failure or H8, do they require?
Acha.
Is the question. If they require, then we have to change the
Acha, acha.
configuration according to.
So sir, so Nitin sir, so
Yeah.
you got his question right. So he's asking कि यहाँ पे भी आपको n ही रखना है कि आपको इसमें redundancy चाहिए?
In I think we will need at least two nodes.
अच्छा, no. My question is, और Kavan's question is कि आपको इसमें CPU का redundancy चाहिए क्या?
No, I didn't get properly your
Okay.
question.
So sir, ये जो bomb design किया है ना,
Mhm.
how I have created both the locations is that
Mhm.
कि अगर इसमें 3 नोड है ना, so आपका डेटा लॉस नहीं होगा अगर कोई कुछ भी फेल हो जाता है तो. However, आपका अगर एक नोड फेल हो गया ना, तो आपका कंप्यूट रिसोर्सेज थोड़ा कम हो जाएगा. Okay.
Correct.
Similarly, I have made for Pune and I think. So what Kavan's question is कि I think location, if it's not a DR and if it's a production type of a location, then should we consider a compute n+1 as well? तो मतलब इसका core count में बढ़ाऊंगा फिर to give a n+1. That's what we are asking.
I don't think so. It is a small office. I don't think so.
अच्छा.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I can propose you instead of 12 core maybe some not double but maybe something additional.
16 core. There इसके बाद में direct 16 core आता है sir.
So let me properly go through. I
अच्छा,
can
अच्छा.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so this is the two hardwares which I have recommended, and as per the initial look and feel and the space that is available, I think वो आपका UDHE house नया जो ESXi आपका existing है ना, उसको accommodate कर लेगा.
Not a single addition is required, Swapnil.
So as of now तो मुझे वैसे ही लग रहा है कि we can fulfill.
We have total 5 right now here.
Yeah. We have total 5 and आपका CPU utilization भी काफी कम है sir. 10% ही है वो CPU utilization.
What about the storage?
Storage piece of it मैंने जो calculation किया था
Considering the replication, no?
We'll even have to consider the memory because last time I think we were cut short on the memory.
अच्छा, memory and as in the RAM you are talking about.
Yeah, because right now I think it's at 40% load according to the data.
And
that we
all
see.
the VMs will come again here. So
अच्छा.
it will go to at least 60.
हाँ, this will the memory will pick up थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो जाएगा memory का.
Almost I can say you around 30 to 35 VMs will come from ESXi or the
अच्छा.
that environment, existing environment.
Okay, so we can add this thing. I think CPU it might. So मुझे खाली एक information चाहिए था सर कि वो जो ESXi है ना आपका, उसमें अभी peak utilization कितना है? अगर वो कम है,
उसमें ना स्वप्निल, I will let me tell you. उसमें भी है ना CPU, if you ask me, it is almost 10 to 15%. From last 7 years we are running that setup.
अच्छा.
Worst case scenario, it was around 30%, not more than that. I have never seen it going beyond 30-40%. And regular in operations, in production hours, in business hours, it is not more than 15%. We have a cluster of 4 there, existing VMware cluster.
अच्छा.
So I think it is sufficient. But yes, when it comes to RAM, yes, it is almost 70% utilization. Yeah.
That is, I think, 70% regular means.
Yeah, it's consistent 70%. I can.
Yeah.
In the okay. So
But anyways,
RAM will need to add here.
I can tell you one side, one better side in Nutanix is we have more RAM. There we have 128 or let's say 256. Compared to Nutanix, we have around 700, and I think it is more than 1 TB in this cluster. So that is a difference.
Got it.
Okay.
So sir,
that's why let me give me some time. I will properly take it with me with the production environment, and then I can help you out with whether we need to add any additional node in Udhi house or not. Considering, and then one more question is, Swapnil, how much let's say a forecast or how much more load other than what we have given it to you, this setup can accommodate.
Okay.
Let's say down the line, we should not go to the management saying, boss, again हमको 50 लाख रुपए दीजिए और कुछ scale up करना है. So my question is, how much more load this setup can take. You can give like this. In Udyavs, you can take, sir, 10 VMs, let's say 5 TB more, this can accommodate. In Pune, in down the
Acha.
line, in Pune office, you can host another 5-10 VMs. In, I think also with this space you can put it,
Acha.
no
Acha.
problem.
So okay,
That
got it,
kind
sir.
of something,
Acha, acha. So
yeah,
okay, sir.
some
So
buffer.
I will make that document as in कि ये कितना ले सकता है, कितना capacity, मतलब so what I'll be doing is free VCPUs को
You
maybe I'll
understood my
convert it
question,
into,
right?
yeah.
I should not go to Deepak saying, अरे यार थोड़ा hard disk दे दो वापस एक साल में.
Acha, acha. Noted, sir. Noted. So I will calculate that piece and I'll let you know. But it would be like a rough calculation based on the like resources available. So basically how I'll calculate is actually ऐसा calculation में दे नहीं सकता, reason being that कि workloads and all पूरा differ करता है कि अभी आप क्या workload use कर रहे हो, maybe उसका utilization ज़्यादा हो जाएगा and all. Ideally it is not a very reliable calculation, but एक
Yeah,
rough ballpark
just,
figure में provide कर सकता हूँ अगर आपको चाहिए तो.
yeah. Let's say now here you are saying, let's say 20 TB. And so Swapnil, you can answer like, yes, in this 10% more you can accommodate, not more than that. So मुझे एक gut feeling, थोड़ा एक idea आ जाएगा.
Got it, sir.
You went to raise a flag to the management. Boss, this is.
or otherwise what we can do is Swapnil, for example, हम लोग N+1 तो नहीं दे रहे, but we know that single socket 12 core में we can accommodate their current usage. Then instead of 12 we can propose 16 core,
16
same
core,
single
exactly,
socket
sir.
16 core, and then so that instead of 36 cores in a cluster they will get 16 into 3 48 cores.
Correct,
12
sir.
कोर एक्स्ट्रा मिलेगा, देन वी कैन टेल के सर
हाँ.
आपको इसके अंदर 12 कोर और इतना मेमोरी आपका फ्री है. अब आप देख लीजिए कि इसके अंदर यू नो आपको कैसे यू नो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ
Correct.
applications what do
One, yeah.
that's also one way of looking at it.
Yes, Pawan, you're absolutely right.
This query is absolutely to be understood that it depends purely on the workload that you are putting. It is correct, yes. But still, I'm asking like there should be some estimation, you know.
Got it, sir.
Yeah, so what we'll do, Nitin ji, is we'll give you the estimation in terms of core as well as memory as well as storage. कि सर इसके अंदर apart from all the workloads which you have already told us, ये extra है. इसके लिए भी आपको जितना यूज करना है आप यूज कर सकते हो.
Correct. Kavan, I think this question only you can answer.
Yeah.
Coming to the commercial, so you know, I told Swapnil also that parallelly we are working with management to get some approval. So I'm not asking you the exact amount. It just a gut feeling or something. Can this overall whatever the Swapnil has proposed can be done in 1 CR? Yes or
if you don't increase the cores and जो अभी जो configuration है वो आ जाएगा.
Including everything, licenses and all those stuff, right?
Everything 6 node आ जाएगा आपको. If there is any kind of Microsoft licenses, it will be extra. Any kind of switches, it will be extra. Any kind of implementation from Magnimus will be extra.
Understood. So 1 CR you are saying, right? And whatever
उसमें आ
I will add, that will
वो थोड़ा मतलब हाँ आप 5-10 लाख एक्स्ट्रा पकड़ के चलो. It will not be a very high thing because आपका हर एक में 12 कोर बढ़ा रहे हो. तो वो you know it will be मतलब ये हो जाएगा 12 कोर्स एक क्लस्टर में 12 क्लोज आई थिंक वाले क्लस्टर में ऐसा करके. So around 24 cores that will increase roughly around 10 lakh of rupees for the course. And if you increase any kind of memory or storage तो उसका अलग. Otherwise आप सेम कॉन्फ़िग जो अभी लिखा है यहाँ पे अगर आप वही लेते हो एक के अंदर बैठ जाएगा. उसके ऊपर नहीं जाएगा. प्लस टैक्सेस. वैसे तो आप यूएसडी में देते हो.
Yeah, and whatever you are saying is without taxes, of course.
Correct.
Yeah. Swapnil, I think you are proposing 3 node, na? Total the cluster 3, na? I think in Pune 3.
Yes, sir. Correct. In both the locations, it is 3-3.
3-3.
दोनों में 3-3 है. None of them have n+1.
Okay, guys.
मैंने सर स्टोरेज में वो भी बता देता हूँ आपको. सो पुणे लोकेशन के लिए मैंने स्टोरेज एक्चुअली हार्डवेयर एंड एवरीथिंग इज सेम. खाली मैंने इसमें अगर आप देखोगे ना, सो मैंने हार्ड डिस्क का कैपेसिटी ज्यादा पकड़ा है. सो यहाँ पे आई हैव कंसीडर्ड 12 TB into 2 as the hard disk capacity. That's why it is giving you 35 terabytes. In the I think location I have considered only 4 terabytes. It's giving you 13 TIB usable. So
12
अगर
TB
आपको
का एक हार्ड डिस्क, अरे बाप रे। ओके
हाँ, सो अगर इसको भी सर अभी वहाँ पे 12 है, यहाँ पे 4 है, तो ये मैं अगर मतलब आई कैन इंक्रीज इट, प्राइस में ज्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं होगा सर. सो सेफर एस्पेक्ट आई कैन इंक्रीज इट. सो ये 13 का 15-16, बिकॉज लास्ट टाइम यू वर आस्किंग दैट क्वेश्चन ना कि
Swapnil, this Tera TB you are mentioning, this is usable, all actually usable, no?
दिस इज एक्चुअली यूजेबल. यस सर, मतलब वो मैंने RF2 कैलकुलेट करके आपको
करके
बताया
दिया है, या गुड
वो
गुड,
आई हैव वी हैव द साइजर टूल ना,
या
जिसमें बाय डिफॉल्ट RF2 करके ही वो वैल्यू बताता है.
या
And
okay,
sir, both the locations I think and Pune both are having SFP connectors, right?
probably yes. If there is something change in this, no, I will let you know.
Sure
Swapnil.
sir, no worries.
Yeah.
और सर इसके जगह दोनों जगह पे 10G switches है.
Yes. But the question is now whether it is SFP that we have to use, because in
Which is okay.
yeah,
Which is
we are
I will give you whatever you require. मेरे को
Yeah,
मेन ये चाहिए था कि आपके पास पोर्ट्स अवेलेबल है ना वहाँ पे,
हाँ,
वरना
हाँ.
वो भी आपको अलग से देना पड़ेगा.
नहीं वही because this question my network guy can answer properly, so that's why
अच्छा,
I just need
no
to
worries.
check with him.
No problem, sir.
Yes. So thank you. I think Deepak, you have anything to say? Because hello, Deepak.
Deepak sir, you're there?
He is
No,
there.
I think there's some. और नितिन जी, GPU nodes का क्या करना है टेस्टिंग का? Should we pick up that parallelly or wait?
Sir,
This I need to check with Kavan.
Because
let me check with my Citrix guy.
एक बार चेक कर लीजिए. We have हम लोग आपको GPU nodes का भी ऐसे ही जैसे अभी आपको बताया स्वप्निल, if you're comfortable we can show it the same way to you for GPU nodes also.
Okay.
मतलब if you don't want to get into the hassle of calling the appliances and all that.
अच्छा, आपने ये क्वेश्चन पूछा पवन. If I ask you, let's say इसमें से किसी एक या दो नोड में मुझे GPU ऐड करना है, तो हाउ मच उसमें क्या हो जाएगा? So
तो उसमें सर आपको RTS कार्ड लगेगा ना, इसके अंदर कार्ड्स नहीं है.
that is the only thing, right?
It will कार्ड्स के बिना it
sir,
will not
but
be able to.
वो सर बट वो पूरा SKU अलग हो जाता है. मतलब मैं अगर आपको साइट खोल के दिखाऊं ना, वो SKU ही उसका अलग हो जाएगा.
So
just let me share that.
नितिन, ग्राफिकल चिप के लिए RTX कार्ड भी लगेगा. 6000 या 8000 करके टिपिकली दो अलग अलग टाइप्स के कार्ड आते हैं.
Correct.
In addition to that, there is NVIDIA license also.
Okay.
And sir, अभी आपने वो जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था ना कि ये कैलकुलेट कैसे किया है, सो ये देखो RF2 पकड़ के कैलकुलेट किया है. And this is ये open website है. Even you can access this on Nutanix website. It's open to everybody. And you put in the details here, कितने नोड है, कितना काउंट है and everything, and it will calculate the effective RF2 as well as the total capacity. So total capacity is 44. और वो सिचुएशन में जहाँ पे मैंने 4 पकड़ा था ना, तो 4 का मैं आपको बताता हूँ कितना होता है. So 4 का आपका हो जाएगा 14.5. If I consider 2 into 4, 2 into 1, it is actually 14.5 and total capacity is coming to ये. तो फिर हम लोग ने उसको 8 किया था बाद में. So 8 करेंगे तो इतना आ जाएगा आपको. Roughly 24 terabytes आपको मिल जाएगा सर. And the storage is not that costly, तो we can add higher storage. So ये था आपका graphical nodes का question. So इसमें ना there is a certain model number जो आता है which are graphic only nodes. So वो डालने पड़ते हैं सर, because all these model numbers are different.
Okay.
So basically यहाँ पे so VDA graphic के लिए we are 100% sure. I mean to cut the question answer short, कि you will not be able to use graphical users on that. But at the same time, non-graphical VDA users अगर आपको use करना है वो इस पे चलेगा, यही nodes पे.
Okay. But let's say tomorrow I want to add one graphical node in this same cluster. It is possible technically or no?
No, not possible sir.
Not possible.
नहीं सर, उसका आपको क्लस्टर अलग से बनाना
पड़ेगा.
बट हाँ, मतलब सर अगर आपको एक क्लस्टर है जिसके अंदर मान लो 3 नोड है और आपको 2 ग्राफिकल नोड वाला हार्डवेयर आपको ऐड करना है. हार्डवेयर मतलब मैं पूरा नोड की बात कर रहा हूँ, पूरा नोड.
या
तो वो कर सकते हैं. मतलब एग्जिस्टिंग इसके अंदर मैंने एक नोड ऐड कर दिया. मुझे अगर मेरा खाली एप्लीकेशन रन करना है, मुझे कुछ रिडंडेंसी वगैरह नहीं चाहिए, तो मैं क्या करूंगा, एक ग्राफिकल नोड ऐड करूंगा, वीएम उसके ऊपर पिन करके रख सकता हूँ.
Nitin, and Kavan, I'm sorry, I have another meeting lined up at 3 p.m. So I am leaving. I'll special feedback from Nitin and Swapnil later on after our call.
Okay.
ठीक है,
Okay,
okay,
sir.
Thank you.
okay. Thank you,
Thank you,
Deepak
Deepak
sir.
sir.
Thank you. Bye.
So स्वप्निल, you are saying कि existing current cluster में कोई भी cluster 3 नोड का होगा, उसके अंदर एक या दो GPU नोड अगर ऐड करना है तो ऐड कर सकते हैं.
हाँ वैसे ऐड कर सकते हो.
You
पर
don't need
पूरा
to
का
add minimum 3.
you don't need to add minimum 3. एक मतलब आपको redundancy नहीं मिलेगा सर. If you are fine with that, तो आप
Understood.
एक डाल
Let's
दो,
say
उसमें
we-
VM pinning कर दो तो वो चल जाएगा.
okay. So my, let's say now within Udios we have 5 nodes. So let's say I know I want to add one node which will be purely for my 3D engineering application. So that can be done. You are saying.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah,
Yes, yes.
correct.
But I will check on this specifically which model number goes with that compatibility and everything we have to check.
Understood.
But yeah, that is.
No
हाँ,
problem.
मतलब
How
that
much is
actually
the
depends.
how much is
Technically
the
it is
price
not
difference?
possible. Yeah.
Like suppose if we have a same node considering the same resources, what is the difference between both the nodes in terms of price?
So we will not be able to figure it out right now. I'll tell you why. Because two different nodes will have. So when we need to
Many
figure
things.
out a price for the GPU thing, we will need to understand what resources you want to put.
Mhm.
Plus there'll be, apart from my node ka cost, there'll be NVIDIA ka cost, RTS ka cost, all of that coming into play. So I'm not really sure what it would be. There was some kind of price estimation I had given to Saji sir. I'm not really remembering now अभी कितना था. There was something which we had figured out. Some 4 nodes का ऐसा कुछ तो requirement आपका आया था. वो आपका जो अभी 100 या 200 GPU users का जो एक project था 6 months ago, it got halt because of COVID. I forgot. So वहाँ पे था. So roughly I'll tell you, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है on an average, no, it will be in a tune of 35 to 40 odd lakhs, inclusive everything, including your licenses and all of that. If it
Okay.
is on the same config, because
Right.
So how much
we,
node you are saying, Kavan? 3.
One
no,
node.
one. I'm taking
Only one.
Kavan.
No,
Okay.
he's considering just one. He's saying that suppose if
Uh-huh.
similar resource we
Yeah,
take,
yeah.
but instead of the normal one, we take the graphic one. What we are thinking?
You
हाँ,
have
so
engineering client customers? Any
yeah, actually मेरा अभी GPU का एक POC भी चल रहा है. I'm not really. स्वप्न तेरे को पता है निखिल का POC कहाँ चल रहा है? We have a couple
नहीं,
of
customer का
customers
नाम
in
नहीं
South
पता मुझे.
also. हाँ, so we have some POCs going on. We have a customer in South also who uses GPU node. So we can get you the references. That is not a problem.
even any gaming company that can also be. I think that there are so heavy resource. You
Sir,
resource
actually Autodesk जो है ना company Autodesk, they are
Yeah.
actually using our GPUs and our frame also
वो Nutanix पे ही है sir.
for our VDI solution. हाँ, सब कुछ Nutanix पे है, and we have a case study for that also. So we can share you the case studies for all the engineering customers for the frame and graphical nodes and everything.
Okay.
Sir, and best part is that कि ये जो entire piece है ना, Nutanix actually started as a VDI company, VDI provider in a way कि it developed as a solution to cater to graphical nodes as well as Citrix का workloads. That is how the company started in the first. And बाद में we also came up with our own VDI solution called as Nutanix Frame, which supports graphical nodes, it supports engineering drawings, everything is there in the Frame solution.
So basically what we'll have to do is, there'll be two things what we'll have to do. One is के once you give, whenever you know we go more deeper into this, we'll have to figure out कि आपको क्या resources चाहिए, maybe on one node itself. और उसका देखना पड़ेगा कि आपका कौन सा cluster है, either the cluster which you already have, the 5 node cluster, or any of these 3 node clusters, किसके साथ वो compatible है. Then we will be able to, you know whether we can put it in or can we not put it in all of these things. Because so that will give us the actual price and all of that. मतलब अभी तो मैं आपको बोल दिया 35 कुछ भी, but हो सकता है कि your resources are not so much, आपको इतना नहीं चाहिए, you want to put it only for 10 users, 15 users, something like that. So then you might, we will take the base model of DX series, मतलब HP का जो सबसे lowest आता है for GPU, we can take that and work it out.
Yeah. Understood, Kavan. Okay. You send it, Swapnil, with your comments. Let me properly go through with respect to the sizing, and then I will come back to you. Yeah.
ठीक है. So स्वप्निल अभी जो BOQ बना है ना वही दे दे. Don't add any extra resources. नितिन जी आप इसको go through करके वो बता दीजिए कि ये resources as on today is equate हो रहा है आपके requirement से, उसके बाद we can always discuss कि इसमें 4 core extra डाल दो या 10 core extra डाल दो for any future requirement.
I need to show it to Saji also, so let's see.
ठीक है, done sir.
Yeah okay sir.
फाइन सर, आई विल शेयर द पीपीटी विद यू. और सर आपको खाली वो एक चेक करना है, अब जैसे आपने बोला ऑलरेडी कि आपके ESXi में तो वैसे भी CPU यूटिलाइजेशन कमी था, तो जस्ट गो थ्रू दैट. और मेमोरी आप यू आर सेइंग 70%. सो देयर इज वन अदर ऑप्शन व्हिच आई कैन सजेस्ट इज कि आपके जो नोड है ना, जो हम लोग देख रहे थे, एक मिनट है, वो एक थोड़ा कन्वर्सेशन अधूरा रह गया. ये जो है ना आपका UDHE हाउस का ये जो कॉन्फ़िग है, यहाँ पे देखते हैं तो 250 के रैम है. तो ये हम लोग इधर 500 का एक्सपेंड कर सकते हैं, मतलब मोर 250. तो आपका ओवरऑल रैम काउंट बढ़ जाएगा, सो इट विल कैटर टू दैट वर्कलोड आल्सो.
यस गुड ओके.
इधर एक कमेंट डालता हूँ, जस्ट अ मिनट.
At the moment, there's no need for any additional storage. मतलब
that is what they are proposing. Actually, we have to properly check this. Yeah.
I think RAM is a good solution because RAM तो लगेगा ही.
Yeah.
ठीक है, डन है. सो स्वप्निल ये सारा भेज दे भाई, वो ये पीपीटी को भी पीडीएफ में भेज दे. आई थिंक इट विल बिकम अ वेरी बिग स्लाइड इफ यू सेंड इट इन पीपीटी फॉर्मेट. उसको पीडीएफ में भेज दे एंड जो BOQB है विद द रिसोर्सेज वो भेज दे. देन लेट देम यू नो हैव अ लुक एट इट आराम से एंड देन कम बैक टू अस ऑन दिस.
ठीक है. आई मेड अ नोट. आपके पास दैट डे वी सॉ कि आपके पास स्टोरेज के लिए भी ड्राइव्स वैसे सफिशिएंट ड्राइव्स है इन दिस एग्जिस्टिंग क्लस्टर, सो दैट यू कैन ऐड एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. ओनली थिंग इज दैट कि वो जो आपने कुछ ड्राइव्स आई थिंक SSDs परचेस करके रखे थे, बट वो लाइसेंसेस नहीं है शायद से आपके पास, इस वजह से आपने ऐड नहीं किए. तो अगर वो भी आपको कुछ करना है तो वो यही बिल ऑफ मटेरियल, मतलब आप बता दीजिए बाद में कि इसको कवन को कि कवन मेरा एग्जिस्टिंग सेटअप में भी मुझे कुछ लाइसेंसेस खरीदने या जो भी है, then we can do that.
Yes, understood.
So it will like a proper solution that you get.
Okay. That query, Swapnil, that you just answer me with respect to the replication container, correct?
Whether we can define कि मेरा बैकअप ये कंटेनर में ही रहेगा कि बाय डिफॉल्ट Nutanix मैनेज करता है वो ना.
Okay.
ठीक है सर, मैं वो पूछ के बताता हूँ आपको.
Okay. Yeah, thank you
so much sir. Thank you
Pawan.
thank you Akhil.
Thank you everyone. Thanks
thank you everyone.
Thanks Nitin sir. Bye. और सर मैं आपको Parallels का यूजर नेम पासवर्ड आप दोनों को भेज देता हूँ, so you can actually take access of that demo which I showed you and you can play around with it. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye.